Well, Blake, they certainly couldn't. I mean, Kenny Dillingham and company took the doors off of those Big 12 preseason expectations and blew them wide open. They were picked to finish dead last, and now they're on the brink of clinching a berth in the first ever 12-team college football playoff. I'd say we're in for a pretty exciting weekend. This to Tempe recruiting motto takes on an ulterior meaning this weekend as ASU has a handful of former Longhorns on its roster who are playing against their former squad this weekend. As I'm sure you can imagine, for those players, this one just means more. We'll get things started with a winter sport in Arizona State hockey. They're in their final stretch of the regular season, and they just took on the defending national champions, number 6 team in the country, Denver, who they swept back in November at their place. So first period, just about 2 minutes in, Kyle Smolin gets the juicy rebound, puts the Sun Devils up 1-0. But hey, Denver with a very quick response here. It's Sam Harris who will get set up on the back door, taps that one home, and we're deadlocked at 1. That would be the score heading into the second period. A tie as we head into the second frame here. Lucas Sillinger with a nice defensive play right at the line, in alone on Davis, moving in, shot, and he scores on the breakaway, making it look easy for the graduate forward there. And then Denver, hey, they're not going down without a fight. Don't let the defending champs get set up in the zone. A funny bounce in the slot, and Sam Harris again puts it 5-hole. Hey, guess who it's going to be here in another second? Probably not a great idea to leave the guy who already has 2 goals alone in the high slot, prime scoring position. He gets another one. That's a hat trick for Sam Harris. So the Pioneers a 3-2 lead heading into the third period. Keep your eye on this puck here. It's loose in the face-off dot, and then Ryan Kerwin just throws it on net, and bang, we're tied at 3 once again in this tie game. But Denver with the rally back. The no-look backhand from the bottom of the circle by Aiden Thompson, who notched the game winner on Friday night just the day before. And then another quick one here by Kieran Sebrion for the Pioneers. A 5-3 lead for Denver just about halfway through the final frame. But hey, you remember this guy? It's Lucas Sillinger from the high slot. He puts it past Davis, and 5-4 as the Sun Devils make a final push. This puck is loose out in front. Referee waves it off, says no goal, and then they take another look back at it, and Mullet Arena is sent into a frenzy. The game-tying goal is said to be good. It did cross the goal line, so here we go in overtime. It'll be Bennett Shimmick. Watch this, a full 200-foot play, coast to coast, splits the D, and then goes 5-hole on Davis. Sun Devils ice this one against the defending champs 6-5 in overtime, 13th in the pairwise because of it, but Greg Powers and his squad think they deserve to be ranked maybe a little higher. Tempe's favorite team is back on the gridiron for some spring football, with the majority of its starters on both sides of the ball that helped the Sun Devils to the CFP last season returning. That's a pretty stark contrast to each of the last 3 years, which saw numerous star players and other important starters departing via the transfer portal. Even with the departure of superstar running back Cam Scadaboo, ASU still has even higher offensive expectations for 2025, but head coach Kenny Dillingham says they still have a long way to go to being a better football team than they were a season ago. And there's lots of exciting new additions, including this guy. That's a 4-star tight end, AJ Ia, making his presence known. And that's our very own Grace Johnson. All smiles and hugs after the fact, though. We're happy to report that Grace is mostly okay. Prod crew kind of did her a little dirty with the replay on that one. But Grace, we miss you over here in Studio 6 for this edition of Cronkite Sports Live. If we take a jaunt to the other part of Tempe over at Desert Financial Arena, not really all sunshine and rainbows for Bobby Hurley and ASU hoops, though. The Sun Devil season officially came to a close with their loss to Nebraska in the college basketball crown tournament. Last year's 5-star freshman duo in Jaden Quaintance and Josan Sanin entered the transfer portal, amongst many others, and much to the chagrin of many ASU hoops fans, Bobby Hurley is in fact back next season for the final year of his contract, where he'll be sitting as a lame duck coach after going 4-16 in the program's inaugural season in the Big 12. If we hop across Packer Drive, there's another program that just wrapped up its first year in a new conference, ASU Hockey. Greg Powers and company were the NCHC's first ever second-place finisher to miss the NCAA tournament after losing to the defending national champions Denver in the conference semifinals in St. Paul, but they went 14-10-1 in league play and were the only team this season to have regulation wins over every other NCHC squad. Off-season activities so far have seen 8 players, only 2 of which were key contributors, entering the transfer portal and the commitment of a trio of forwards in Logan Morrell and Sean McGurn, as well as John Waldron this morning to ASU. An increase in the number of Division I roster and scholarship spots from 18 to 26 starting next season should continue to keep things pretty interesting this offseason. All right, let's get away from those mullet maniacs and calm things down with some green. The Sun Devils men's golf program senior Josele Ballester will make his Masters debut on Monday after winning the U.S. Amateur Championship last August. And then on the women's side, Patience Rhodes and Beth Coulter are teeing up at the iconic Augusta National this week as well. So for more on those Georgia-bound Sun Devils, here's our Jack Kemmler. Hi everyone, Gabby Chernoff here with Greg Powers here at Baxter Arena following Arizona State's series split, the regular season finale for the Sun Devils, 19-13-2 the final record. Coach, first thing I have to ask you about that final sequence. You guys are on the power play, Cullen Potter gets tripped and then the call gets revoked on the good goal by Sillinger. What was the explanation given to you and what were your thoughts?
They said it was conclusive that it was a high stick, and we've looked at it. We don't agree. When the call on the ice is good goal, it has to be absolutely definitive that it was a high stick, and it wasn't. So the fact that they overturned it is really disappointing.
Yeah, an unfortunate sequence there, but looking big picture at your guys' season in the NCHC as a whole, you were picked to finish 8th in the conference. You're in 2nd place now. What have you thought just about how your team has fared in the SEC of college hockey?
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. That's what I told the guys. It stings right now because we felt like we had this game and we felt like we outplayed them tonight, and we did. You know, their goalie was unbelievable. He did credit to that kid. He played lights out. So we locked up 2nd place tonight. You know, Denver lost, so they can't catch us. North Dakota can't catch us, I don't think. North Dakota can't, yeah, no. So, yeah, we locked up 2nd place. And that's a lot to be proud of in our first year in this league. Bye week's coming at a great time to get healthy, and now we focused on playoffs and go from there.
The identity of this team has been defined as fast and relentless. We saw that last weekend. We saw that this weekend as well. How did that kind of come to be the identity of this team, and how do you think they performed to that tonight?
I think they really did well tonight. You know, we could have been up probably 3 in the first, and that kid stood on his head. He made some unbelievable saves. We were fast. We were hunting pucks. We were above pucks. We played really well. Again, you know, the best player in the ice was in their net, and credit to that kid. But I thought we played to our identity tonight, and you know, if you're big, you want to be kind of hard and heavy. We're not a big team, but we're a lot of team speed, and when you have good sticks and you play relentlessly, you're tough to beat, and that's how we played this season.
And then kind of looking ahead, you have the bye week next week, and then you have another week off before you host that quarterfinal series. Is there any concern at all with that amount of time off?
No, it's just a week, you know. So we're gonna rest up and get these guys really ready to go, and we'll get some touches in this week and make sure we're completely healthy and healed up, and then get after it really hard the week of playoffs. And we're excited to play playoff hockey at Mullet. At the start of the season, the goal for us was to host a playoff series, and we accomplished that goal, right? And tonight stings because we felt like we had the game in hand and we're the better team, but we just didn't get it done.
You've called this the deepest roster that this program has ever seen, that you've ever coached. How has this roster lived up to those expectations, and what makes it such a special group?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely has lived up to those expectations in every way. I mean, you got, you know, that kid Benji walking out with an Achilles, and you know, we've missed some really good players all year, and guys step up in different roles and different line combinations, and they never ask. They just perform and empty the tanks every night for us, and that's all you can ask as a coach. So it's been a great regular season for us, a really good team. We're still well within the hunt to make an NCAA tournament with a really strong playoff run, and that's what our plan is.
Well, 16th in the pairwise after the conclusion of tonight's game. Coach, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you back for playoff hockey.
Appreciate it.
11 seasons ago, ASU was a club hockey program with a dream. From becoming an NCAA Division I program to playing at Oceanside Ice Arena to now punching its ticket to the NCHC Frozen Face-Off in its inaugural year in the conference, where the game-winning goal was scored right here to send them to such just moments ago, those dreams have become a reality. Now the Sun Devils will head up to St. Paul with a new goal in mind: claim the conference title. Arizona State has officially taken the ice for practice here at the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul as one of the NCHC's last 4 teams standing in its inaugural season in the conference. The number 11 Sun Devils will take on the defending national champions number 6 Denver in the semifinals. They took the season series 3-1 and would be championship game bound with a 4th on Friday. and last week a commanding 48-7 victory over Wyoming. But in the practice immediately following, head coach Kenny Dillingham said they practiced like a 1-11 team. So Aiden, on the defensive side of the ball, what does ASU need to do to keep up with this rapid lightning tempo that Mississippi State plays with? And then on the flip side of the ball, the offense, Dylan, last week was the first time Arizona State put up more than 40 points since 2022 against Colorado. So what do they need to do to really hold the fort down in that aspect of the game?
Some really good tackles, a couple sacks in a row there for Arizona State. One of them courtesy of Keyshawn Elliott. He's been very active in this game, taking guys on that Mississippi State team down, and he's really the leader of that linebacker group that's been so impactful all night. This year they have adapted the mantra. They call themselves the Werewolves because they want to be in that alpha mentality. After every period in practice, they get together, they throw their hands in the middle, and they howl. And they're definitely bringing that alpha mentality to the end of this football game tonight. Yeah, obviously the initial reaction from that ASU bench, they were a little bit distraught. You could kind of hear the mood just really quiet down. But immediately after that touchdown was scored, the quarterback, Sam Levitt, running across the entire sideline, telling his players it's okay, stepping up as a leader. He's on that Pat Tillman Leadership Council on this football team for a reason. He kept saying, let's ball, let's go, let's keep going. Jacob Kangaika serving as a leader there as well, providing reassurance, and Justin Watley being a hype man down here for his team as well.